Welcome
to Shamba Shape Up Uganda.
We are traveling all over Uganda to find hardworking farmers.
We want to celebrate them while giving them the knowledge they need
to make their farms more productive and adapt to climate change.
We want to support them to get better yields and increase their income.
We will see how farmers can benefit from our experts' advice and turn their farms around into a profitable business,
while learning from each other in so many ways.
Join us on these journeys and share in the farmers' experience
on the Shamba Shape Up Uganda.
Hello! We are in the savannah plains of Mbarara, also known as the cattle corridor.
This region is famous for its long-horned cattle, milk and honey. You see, Frob, it's no easy feat, providing water for 110 animals, preparing the land before the rains, and taking care of the pastures.
And looking after 15 people. It is not so simple. This man has a lot of responsibility.
And who said it was a man?
It's not a man.
No, it's not.
It's a lady. Today, we are in Rwengeru North Village, Mbarara District, paying a visit to Susan Mutambuze, married to Mutambuze Rogers, and they have 5 kids.
While Rogers is away for work, Susan manages the farm and cares for her extended family of 15, including her mother-in-law, nieces, nephews, and uncles.
Susan and her family grow bananas, cassava, and beans. And that's not all. They also have 50 cattle and 60 goats and sheep. But here's the challenge. This area experiences long dry seasons, which makes farming a bit difficult. What challenges do you have on this farm?
Challenges are many, but the most is it's a prolonged drought. Like in this season, we have not yet received any rain. Another problem is the lack of pastures. We don't have enough pasture for our cattle. Last year, we faced a problem of hyenas. Yes.
Hyenas.
Yes, they ate our 8 goats.
Hey. Do they like come like now, for example, like now?
No, they come during night.
Okay. But you don't have to worry, Susan, because we don't come alone. We come with experts that are going to give you all the knowledge that you need so that you can do better.
Thank you.
No, don't take us yet. Let us go and call them. Then we come back with them.
Okay.
Don't move.
Okay. Don't go, we'll be back soon.
Okay.
Okay.
The hyenas.
You've had the hyenas.
The hyenas.
The hyenas. You may think I'm here to talk about the long-horned cows, but actually, I've got my eyes on something even more precious. The soil. The soil in this area is very delicate and can be washed away easily. But is it good for growing crops? Susan enjoys growing seasonal crops. As the rainy season begins, she plans to plant beans. Earlier, we had collected soil samples from her garden, and with the help of our soil scientist, Miss Brenda Ainomugisha from Jaba, we want to see if Susan's soil is good to grow beans and whether she can expect a bumper harvest. Susan, you said, what did you want to plant here?
Beans?
Beans.
Yes.
Have you planted them here before?
Yes.
And then what happened?
When it comes out like on the second stage, the leaves turn yellowish. I don't know why.
Do you think there's something that may be wrong with the soil, or is it something else?
Obviously, if the beans are not in their normal color, there must be a problem.
There must be a problem.
Yes.
What do you think the problem is?
The problem, I think, for a start, it is a nutrient imbalance. Some nutrients are there, some are not there. Yes.
What should Susan do?
Susan should do soil testing so that we find out exactly what is missing in the soil.
To collect a good soil sample, dig a hole 1 foot deep in your shamba with a panga. Take a handful of soil from the side of the hole with a panga. Put the soil into a bag and take more samples from about 20 different places around the farm in a zigzag pattern. Label the bag with your name, telephone number, and the size of the farm and what you want to grow. Then take it to the lab for testing. What are the advantages of doing a soil test?
If you do soil testing, you're sure of the nutrient status in the soil. You're sure the the crop you're going to plant will give you good results at the end because you know what to do throughout the season.
Okay.
Yes.
We did a soil test on this garden.
Okay.
And Brenda is going to tell us what she discovered.
You can also have a look.
Okay, thank you.
We are testing NPK, that is nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Because they are the ones essential for the crop you're going to grow. So the results we got a very good nitrogen. Yes. It is very good in our soil. We don't need more nitrogen.
Oh.
Okay. But for phosphorus, we have low phosphorus. So we'll need to boost and get more phosphorus so that our beans grow well.
Okay.
For potassium, we already have enough potassium. So we don't need to struggle looking for potassium for our beans to grow well.
Brenda found the soil to be acidic and suggested 2 ways to address it. First, you can broadcast powdered lime 2 months before planting. The second way is to use granular lime, which can be mixed with fertilizer before planting and applied.
Meaning on these results, if we get now phosphorus, we'll be ready to expect good yields at the end of the season.
That's what we want. That's
Yes.
what we want. Okay.
How am I going to get that phosphorus?
How are we going to get that phosphorus? Good. For phosphorus, we are going to get that in fertilizers. Reason being, this cow dung we are using here, it is not tested and we cannot be sure of how much phosphorus it is in the cow dung. Okay. That's why we are opting for fertilizers. But if it was a compost that we make and we make sure we put in everything,
Yes.
we would then say compost will work for us. But cow dung alone will not work. That's why we want to go to fertilizer and get that fertilizer that has high concentration of phosphorus to be put in our soil for good yield.
Wow, this is a lot of information. So let's go and see how to apply these fertilizers.
Okay.
After you, the ladies. Phosphorus P helps in the early root formation and growth. Nitrogen N helps in the leaf and stem growth. And potassium K helps fruit to form and mature. Right, Brenda, so what do we have here?
Here in front of us we have fertilizer. This is TSP. And here we have lime that will collect our pH.
Brenda,
Yes.
what do we do next?
Here what we are going to do, we want to mix the two of them because we are going to plant immediately.
Okay.
So we have no time. We are going to mix the two of these in equal ratios and we go and plant. So if I scoop this one here, I have to scoop this one here.
Equal amounts.
Equal amount. So here we mix thoroughly. So here I'm done with mixing, as you can see. It is actually, this is one package. You cannot know that I've mixed the two of these.
Okay, so we've mixed thoroughly.
Yes.
Let us get our beans and you show us how to plant. Now that we've mixed the fertilizer with the granular lime, this is how we fertilize our soils before we plant beans. First, we plow the soils, then dig furrows 50 centimeters apart from row to row. After that, we apply the fertilizer and cover with a thin layer of soil. Using a spacing of 10 centimeters, we plant the beans and cover with the soil. We've done a soil test, found out the nutrients that were lacking, added the nutrients, planted our beans. What next? Let's wait for a bumper harvest.
The next story is about small-sized livestock that are often reared by youths and women. These animals provide needed income for smallholder farmers. Goats and sheep fall into this category, which come with benefits but also challenges. Susan is facing issues like disease management and protecting her flock from wildlife. We've brought in Mr. Kenneth Black, an animal expert, to help find solutions. Susan,
Yes, please.
where do your goats sleep?
They sleep here.
Where?
Here in an open place.
Just the open?
Yes.
And Mr. Black,
Yes, please.
what do you think of that?
It is not good for staying around. Supposed to having a shed. And that shed, it has advantage.
Yes.
For example, like now, in my observation here,
Yes.
I have seen that some animals having ticks. Some have some diseases, like, for example, like mastitis. I have seen a goat with mastitis. But when you have a shed, it is easier to identify the disease very early. For example, in the case of this external parasite, when you have a shed, you spray. Because now, for example, to have to get a goat and a goat and spray, it's costly. But when you have a shed, you put maybe in a kulash in a shed, then you spray your goats. Second, the shed has advantage. Your younger ones will grow very fast because they have not attacked by some pneumonia. For example, like they can get any pneumonia around here or any other parasites. For example, like these hyenas which are around can also eat these animals. Even if they are very cheap, it's very easy to steal. So a shed has advantages. Also, it also helps you in counting your goats. For example,
Knowing the number.
knowing the number of the goats which you have. So when you are running a goat, you must have goat management. In goat management, you have vaccination, you have deworming, because they have internal parasites where you need to deworm. Those are goat managements. Feeding, you must have feeding. You must feed these goats. I have observing here, there is no water trough. Mean that in management, when you have a shed, there must be water. So that is the management you're supposed to do on your goats.
Whoa! Susan's goats don't have a shelter. They sleep outside and they're exposed to weather and wild animals. These are really big challenges for you, Susan. Good thing is we've been invited to Rwengeru Agro-Tourism and Demonstration Farm, and we are going to see exactly how a proper goat shed must look like.
So you are now seeing the structure.
Yes.
On the slope one, it is sloping. Meaning that water, when it rains, the water goes direct down. And when the goats urinate, the urine will go down. And even cleaning, it will become simple. That's how you see the clean this place. The place is mud. Then you go there when we talked about controlling internal and external parasite. This is a clash. So that clash, it helps us when we are spraying, controlling our ticks. The same time we can use it for deworming, controlling internal parasite. So again, in this place where we are, we have some water points. So these goats, when they are here, they have water. So there on the south side, there's what we call, where we usually put mineral leaks, or mineral blocks. So these goats also are supposed to provide what? Minerals. Salt, usually called salt, cattle salt, which we usually have here almost. But sometimes we have mineral blocks, which we give. Then when you see again the structure, you see it is well ventilated, meaning that the air enters very well.
True.
Then inside the structure, there is where we have kids' house.
Doesn't it cost much to construct a shed like this?
Yeah, it is the cost, depending on someone's capital. But even if you have less, you can construct a little of bit.
So, Mr. Black, the design of the shed must be like this.
Yes.
But if you have fewer goats, you just have to make whatever fits in your capital.
Yes.
The same thing, but smaller.
Yes, please.
Okay. Goats need good shelter on the farm. This helps them grow healthier, help in pest and disease management. The shed should be at least 1 meter off the ground. The height of the shed should be 1.5 meters from floor to the roof and 1.5 meters length. Make sure it is well ventilated with water trough, feed trough, and spraying crush. The size of a goat shed is determined by the number of goats a farmer has. But for a healthy flock, each adult goat should have a space of 1.5 to 2 meters. This is good for easy movement of air, heat, and avoid congestion. Welcome back
To Shamba Shape Up Uganda.
So far, we have seen the importance of doing a soil test and how to build a good goat shed.
But hang on, there's more. We're not done yet. We're also going to learn how to plant better grass for the animals and even set up a small garden for Susan's family to grow some veggies. Ha, Aggie. It's time. You go.
No, it's okay.
You
that
go.
side.
You go.
But you always want to go.
You go. You go.
You see, because the rains can be a little bit unpredictable, farmers are starting to get clever farming tricks so that they can save food for their animals. Susan's farm lacks enough pastures for her cows during the dry season. To address this, she aims to grow more pastures but isn't sure how. We've called in pasture expert, Miss Sharon Atuhaire from Naro, to guide her.
So we have different pastures which we can as well as plant, and when it comes to the dry spell like this one which we are looking at, so we have to plant some of the pastures and then they help us during the dry spell, such that we prepare some silage or we prepare some hay, or we are feeding these pastures to our animals when they are fresh. So I've brought some of the variety of the different varieties of the pastures, which we can as well as plant on the farm, and then we prepare them for our animals during the dry spell. So we have the regime pastures, and when it comes to the regime pastures, they will have to help us in the protein content to our animals. Then we have the carbohydrates, where we have the grass pastures, which are going to help us to put the body weight of this animal, and then we have the fodder pastures, which can also be given as supplementary feeds to our animals.
I would like to know which type of grass should I plant for my cows in order to produce much milk.
The regimes help us to perform better. Like we have got the coriander, and this coriander can be planted around the boundaries of the farm. Then we have got the alfalfa. This alfalfa is also a regime pasture. You will have planted it, so you don't let the animals move there to feed them. They will have to disorganize your field. You're supposed to be cutting it, and then you carry it where they're going to feed from. You also have got this alfalfa, which is also a good regime pasture, and then we have got the silver leaf desmodium. And when it comes to the silver leaf desmodium, we also have the green leaf desmodium. So when you look at the margin of these leaves, you're looking at that silver leaf stuff. They look like the same, but they are totally different. And being the dry spell, this green leaf desmodium is supposed to have the brown spots on the leaves. During the rainy season, it normally possesses them. You're looking at them. Only that now it is the dry spell, so they lose that content. But this is green leaf desmodium, and then this is silver leaf desmodium. And these pastures, if you're observant, we already have them even on the farm when you're moving around. But for some of the farmers don't know. But these are some of the regimes which help these animals to have more milk on the farm. Then we have centrosema. And this centrosema of ours, you can as well as mix it with the elephant grass on planting. So it is a climbing pasture. So it is also a regime pasture, but it's a climbing one. So it climbs all around. So when it comes to time for planting, for chopping, you're going to make silage. You're chopping the two of them. You're taking them at the same time. So it is much better when you interplant them. It will have to help you, much as you're not going to look for the silage and then for the regimes, and then you look for the what? For the grass pastures. So they will have been mixed up, and then you preserve them for your animals. For sure, I really encourage you to preserve silage and then preserve hay for your animals. They will have to perform better on the farm. If you have been producing 60 liters during the rainy season, there is no reason as in why you should come to 20 liters during the dry spell. You should maintain that.
Sharon went on to explain that it is very good to mix elephant grass with legumes. This is because elephant grass has carbohydrates, which give our animals energy to grow up strong, and legumes have protein to build and repair muscles. Examples of legumes that grow in this region include bracharia, Chloris guyana, and alfalfa. At the beginning of the rains, collect the planting materials. With a sharp knife, cut the bottom part of young napier grass stems into pieces. Each piece should have at least 3 nodes, the knobs or swellings on the stem. Stretch out a rope across the plot to make sure you have a straight line. Using a hoe and a measuring stick, plant the pieces of stem at 100 centimeter intervals along the line. Plant them angled into the ground at about 30 degrees. So 2 of the nodes are buried in the soil and 1 is above the ground. Plant more rows with a spacing of about 100 centimeters between the rows. Thanks to Sharon's guidance, with this information, we've got a scoop on how to plant and take care of our pastures.
Susan, on top of the busy schedule on the farm, has to manage a 15-member household, including a 6-month-old son. During droughts, a kitchen garden is a lifeline. It saves the family money spent on vegetables in the market. Susan has got water from Rwengeru Agrotourism Demo Farm and is ready to start her garden. Our handyman, Mr. Didas Mpumiwe, is here to help us set up. What are the uses or the benefits of having a kitchen garden near the home?
The benefits of having a kitchen garden, once you go just in town to buy vegetables, you know you spend a lot of money in transport.
Yes.
So once you have a kitchen garden at your home, that transport is cut off, meaning that money is saved for other use.
That's what we want.
Yeah. Then secondly, once you have vegetables at your home place, you go and harvest them when they are still fresh, and you eat them or utilize them when they are still fresh. So you get what you are supposed to get from the vegetables.
That is what we want. That is what we want, especially for her who has a 6-month-old kid. Yes, one of the nutrients.
Okay, you are welcome.
Anything you want to ask Mr. Leaders?
Does it only consist vegetables? Like?
May I want to put sugar canes there?
Now, the fact that I mentioned vegetables, specifically, we consider vegetables when we are dealing with the kitchen garden.
Okay.
Specifically.
We asked Didas how to make a kitchen garden, and Susan had just the right place to set it up. Is this a place we can use?
We can have it here.
Okay, good. Mr. Didas, what do we need?
The materials we need,
Yes.
we need loamy soil.
Is that loamy?
That is the one, loamy soil.
Check.
Yeah, then we need grasses that may act as mulches, dried grasses, the ones.
Check.
Then we need pegs to make it. Then we need strings to tie the pegs. Then tarpaulin, just hold the soil firm. Then to raise it.
Don't worry, I have a magician.
Yes.
Caris! This man is...
He's an expert also.
You see?
Okay. So these are pegs that I was talking of. These are strings. Yes. Yeah. Oh, tarpaulins, good. Yeah, I think all materials are around.
They're around.
They are around.
Now that we have all the materials in place, let's put the theory into practical. Can we begin? Good thing with the help of Caris, we started making our kitchen garden. First, we measured the right size of the kitchen garden, and with pegs, we made the outer ring. After that, we put the inner compost pit. This is where organic peelings can be dropped. Then we set up a tarpaulin to hold the soil. See, our kitchen garden is taking shape. The mulch is to protect the soil from direct sunlight and moisture loss. Always add manure to the soil before making the kitchen garden. This will have the advantage of increasing fertility and retaining moisture. Now our kitchen garden is ready for our vegetables. Susan.
Yes, please.
Well done.
Thank you.
Leaders.
Yes.
Now this is what we call the kitchen garden.
Kitchen garden. This is the one now I'm watering.
Okay, good.
Yes.
How often should we water?
2 times. Early morning, like 2 jerrycans. Then late evening, 2 jerrycans. So 4 jerrycans per day.
Leaders.
Yes.
Thank you. Susan.
Yes.
We'll catch up.
Thank you.
Keep in touch.
You? Well.
I have learned many things from Shamba Shape Up. They have taught me new methods of farming, and I think if I do all those things, I will increase on my farming production.
Yes, this is the point where we say goodbye. But before we go, did you enjoy our visit?
Yes, I've enjoyed it. Thank you guys for coming.
And thank you for having us.
I've appreciated.
No, me, I've gotten an appreciation for women. You have 15 people to look after, and you have to go to the farm every day.
Yes.
Frobisha, what is that called?
A woman of substance.
So we have to say our goodbyes. Bye, Dad. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
If you want more information on what we have covered this week, you can find it on Shamba.
As for you at home, catch us on our next episode of Shamba Shape Up Uganda.